All right, and we're live. I think, probably. How's everyone doing this fine Saturday morning? Justin, how's it going? Captain Panda, username Thunder, Luvion. How's everyone doing this fine morning or night? There's a lot of green in chat. Yes, a decent bit of green in chat. Laiola, how's it going? And I am thankful for all of the green in chat. What happened during last stream? Not much. That's actually probably not a great answer. I don't actually know offhand. York, how's it going, man? York has like 3 accounts. They all have the same fucking... They all have basically the same name, but then the color of the profile pic changes. Like the main one is like purple and this one's brown, and it confused the fuck out of me every time. DSV, how's it going, man? How you doing? You remove the white background of the share. Yes. I think that looks better. I'm good, Pushkar. How you doing, man? What? Crass. That's what I was thinking. Romero, how's it going? I'm not creative with the names. Don't judge me. It's fine. I'm not judging. How do you like your different personas? I don't know how I feel about them, Pushkar. I don't know. I don't know. It's, I mean, as long as you guys are getting a good kick out of it, I'm happy. Okay. Soar. Okay. What's your favorite house in Game of Thrones? Wiz Moriarty looks good. The Martells, I think are probably my favorite. Romero. I think Pedro Pascal's character as Prince fuck, I can't remember his name. Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh, the guy who fights for Tyrion. What's his name? Cemental? Bro, Pushkar, you're just... Oberyn Martell, yes, thank you, Oberyn. I think that character, I enjoyed him so much, dude. And plus, his older brother, younger brother, whoever rules Dorne is like canonically known as the like one of the only people in the entire is like canonically known as one of the only people who has as brilliant a strategic mind as Tywin Lannister. S-H-O-R-T. Okay. So now I need to get 2 letters. Okay. I like the Lannisters. Just because of Tywin. Uh-huh. Sure it's not because of Cersei, Romero, you little shit. Also, your hair is sticking out. Yeah, my hair's a mess today. I didn't get a chance to shower before. I normally shower and, you know, get everything and, like, get all ready before stream and stuff, but I didn't get a chance to. Oh, did you mean I was... Oh, you mean in that sense. That's right. Okay, yeah, we should be fine now. I see. Nightwalker, how's it going? Wait, this is interesting. I didn't realize this was not all the way at the top. This does look better. Tywin was way too overpowered and his children all suck. I mean, Tyrion's pretty good, but Tyrion has his own faults. He's an idiot. Luvion, fuck you. S Smart. Okay, that was close. Lee, how's it going, man? How you doing? Cemental is hard. I bet you won't. I've never played it, but I will try, Pushkar. Cement. Jamie and Cersei were born so they could drag down. Yeah, that was. Yeah, they're not. Is it Cemental? Is it this one? You're kidding. Is not, but semantic or contextual. It's evaluated not using a dictionary, but a database of words. Okay. So I have to find, okay, so I have to find a, okay, so I have to use similarity contextually. Okay. After Lee's, how's it going, man? Okay. So let's start out with... That's such a bad guess. Oh, I don't care. Okay, that's a bad guess too. How many... Do I get infinite words? Or how does that work? Oh, infinite. Okay, well, I'm gonna try 7 minutes and then I'm gonna start reading, so I don't care. Okay, computer. That's cold too. Wow. Sleep. Wow, how am I getting worse? Okay. Sword. So, world for today. Okay, sword is knight. Better. Sword, knight. Samurai. No. Okay, sword, knight are the closest things I can get. Medieval. Wow, that's bad. Ancient. Weapon. Armor. What the? I'm not a fan of Cersei. I like crazy girls, but I have limits. Yeah, Cersei... Well, Cersei is like a weird kind of crazy. Because she's just out of her fucking mind. But the problem is she's so out of her mind. She has like the... She has the strength of crazy people. You're like... Maybe you guys... like, you guys probably know this. But like... You don't ever want to fight someone who's crazy. Because the strength of the mentally insane is kind of nuts. Because they don't have any inhibition. They're not like... Damn, like if I punch like really hard and this guy like falls down and he hits his head on the concrete, I might go to jail. No, none of that goes to... They're just like, out of their fucking minds, just doing whatever. So you don't... Yeah. That's what Cersei is, just out of her fucking mind. Bro, what is this? Feral. -2 degrees? I didn't even know it was possible to get negative. Dr. Z, hey, how's it going? I got negative. Feral, polite. Wow, how am I so cold? Appendix. Now, interject. Heritage. Oh, okay, that's good. It's within... Okay, thank you. Okay, heritage. Heritage. Ancestor. Heritage. Common. Past. Just to give a head start, bro. Culture. Inheritance. How is inheritance so far off from heritage? Wes, just be careful, man. Some people may not necessarily agree with you. Romero might want to fight you on it. I don't know. Samo, how's it going, man? Lineage. Oh, lineage is good. Lineage is better. Wait. Is this... Yes, okay. It was not perfect, but it was not bad. Yeah, I didn't mind. I thought it was sort of middle of the road. Is ancestry? Is that how you spell? Oh, that's why. Okay. Bloodline. History. Okay. History. I didn't have Ramiro crash out on me. Your warning wasn't necessary. Okay, well, I was just saying, okay? You have a second martyr, yeah. No, I put it at a 7.5, Dr. Z. That's where I thought 7.5 was like a good middle ground for it. Okay, fuck. History. History. Battles? No. Battle? No. Okay. History. Historicity. Is that not how you spell historicity? Historicity. Yeah, that's a word. It's just being a bitch. That's crazy to me. I don't understand. You know what I like next episode? Doctor, yes, I know. Mr. Isaac's coming back, and we get the whole EBS shenaniganery. Oh my god. We already did Bloodline, Romero. Chronicle. Wow, that's bad. Might get little son of... oh, maybe. I don't know, bro. Okay, this is the... Okay, we got one more minute and then we're done. By the way, you were gonna do polygonal without cheating. Okay, we'll do it like we'll do it midstream. Pushkar, we'll read a couple chapters and then we'll do that. I need to get away from here. This is such a dog shit, bro. Give me the what is this word? I feel like I will like episode 6 a lot more. I hope my instincts are right because I had the same feeling for episode 4 but not 5. Okay, it's 12. I'm done. Yesteryear. Your scholar. Sorcerer. I'm just using Lord of the Mysteries words at this point. Alright, it's time to start. 965. That's where I was. Bro, I'm just realizing I've been reading for the past, like, 5 days and I've not taken any notes. This is cooked. I actually need to get back to taking notes or I'm actually going to get cooked. Oh, God. I don't want to talk about it, Pushkar. You don't want the answer to that. I promise. You don't want the answer. It's just bad for both of us if it gets leaked. 965. Brief crisis. Ramiro, it really wasn't that bad, man. I assume the thing you're... Hold on. I assume the thing you're most concerned about is, the thing I found most confusing was the play. You tell me if yours was different. But for me, it was the play. What was the most confusing for you? How Klein divined the house, should not have been able to do it. I don't think they divined the house, no. I thought they figured it out with like detective clues where they were like, oh, the blue archive graphic? What are you referring to, Plague? I don't actually know what you're referring to. Died Light, how's it going, man? Okay. Okay. On the top of the first floor, on the top floor of a small building, a black-haired, brown-eyed man donning dark-colored clothes was looking down at the arms deal not far away. This man, who looked about 28, couldn't help but say, he actually got May Sanchez? Holy Lord of Storm, Alfred. If I'd known it would turn out this way, I might as well have done the mission ourselves. Even if all our expenses are deducted, we would still make at least £20,000. They found the general idea and Klein divined all the houses individually. Well, there was... Oh, okay. Gee, how's it going, man? How you doing? The play was confusing at the start, and then it took like a second before it was like, oh, I see, cute. Okay. This man beside him was a young man in a black trench coat. He looked about 24 and had a head of resplendent blonde hair. Being addressed as Alfred, he shook his head. Alfred Hall. Oh, Audrey's brother. He shook his head. No, that would be too noticeable. May Sanchez's allegiance has always been unclear. Before figuring out his take on matters, rashly discussing an arms deal with him is dangerous. Dwayne is able to earn £20,000 because he dares to take the risk. To think that Alfred Hall, who has led a dozen men to assault a battalion of over 1,000, would claim that he doesn't take risks. Ra, how's it going, man? How you doing? Alfred shot a glance at him and said, Pagani, this isn't the same thing. That happened because I was confident of wiping out their command center, and that once there was a lack of leadership, 1,000 scattered troops would be as formidable as 1,000 pigs. In addition, the transaction this time is solely a test. It's to establish communications and set up a channel. If it's done by us, who are we to seek out the next time? And the subsequent ones? If we keep at it, we will ultimately expose ourselves. Once that happens, it will be a diplomatic matter. When the deal deepens and broadens, who knows if this would incur the notice of demigods of other factions. This would spell danger. The pre-stream visual was Shirko from Blue Archives instead of Medici. Oh, Plague. So that is actually my channel banner. And for some reason, I was playing around with the settings of the stream. So when I did that, it wiped out the previous thumbnail that I created. And I didn't realize that until I saw the stream this morning. So I switched it back to Medici. But it just, if I don't put in a thumbnail, it auto defaults to my channel banner. I don't know who that is, but yeah, sure, why not? How can demigods be that free to pay notice to such small-scale deals? Every faction has very limited demigods, and there are too many matters awaiting them. I know, I'm only raising an example, Alfred replied. And Justin, because it was a stock one, and I made it when I was like 17, and I wasn't able to just pay someone to make it like a decent banner. So that's, and I've been too lazy to figure, and I'm still, now that I can afford to pay someone, I'm too lazy to find someone to make me one, and I don't even know what I would want for it. So I'm kind of at a loss. Like, I don't know. I should definitely make a new banner and stuff, but like, I'm so lazy. I should get one. I don't know what I would want for it. Pagani didn't harp on the matter as he turned his back to Dwayne, who was standing outside. This gentleman is said to be very generous. He donated stocks more than £10,000 to the Church of the Evernight. Is this the early stage investment you spoke of? Also, he seems to be working at the same charity foundation with your sister. Such men are very welcome with young ladies. He's good looking and has an outstanding demeanor. Smart, experienced, and has the artifice. He has seen all kinds of women and he's at the age to settle down. Alfred, you must warn Audrey that a playboy will always be one and that one's moral character is a flaw that can never be corrected. I think Audrey's good, but I care that this person cares about Audrey. You can't let the most dazzling gem of Balam be taken by this fellow. There's no need for you to show any concern about such matters. Audrey isn't a young and clueless lady. Her knowledge of the world is far more than you imagine. Besides, my parents are in Backland. They have the ability to prevent any such things. May Santa's actually sent Higgis. I'll go greet him, Alfred said. This isn't the best time to meet. Right. Just as Pagani was about to say something, Alfred had already walked down the stairs. I'm sure a good manner will... Yeah, I know. My problem is, Luvia, I don't... Like, I can get one made. It's just like, what do I want for it is the question. I forget. Did their family know? I think the dad definitely knows. I'm assuming the dad's probably told the mom. I don't know if the brothers know, though. Klein, in the form of Dwayne Dantes, didn't bring any servants. He held his cane and stood out with May Sanchez's representative, Haggis, outside the warehouse. You sit on the full throne? That seems very ostentatious, no, Pushkar? They watched as crates of munitions were carried out and loaded onto the carriage. Raskai! I don't think I've seen you here before, man. How you doing? The true creator in a clown costume, biblically accurate. Wait, what? Huh? At this moment, he half turned his body upon sensing something unusual and looking elsewhere. The person that was reflected in his eye was a young man wearing a trench coat with a hat. Slander. His blonde hair was combed into a slick back, and his blue eyes looked like a lake under a bright, clear sky. He was tall, with a good build. His every move exuded an indescribable sense of dignity. Alfred, Haggis noticed the man, as he cried out, Alfred, Miss Justice's second elder brother. This feeling resembles that of the Arbiter pathway. Klein raised his hand and tipped his hat as a form of greeting. After Alfred greeted Haggis, he turned to Dwayne. Your character is widely spread across Backland. I've heard of you, even despite being in East Balam. Character? A character at making arms deals? Klein lampooned. I'm only doing what needs to be done, Klein chuckled. I believe there's no need for self-introductions. Haggis should have mentioned me to you. Yes, Colonel Hall, Klein replied. I only learned that Miss Audrey has another brother here in the southern continent after I arrived, that he served in the military and has rendered truly impressive services. Alfred cast his gaze onto Dwayne's face and changed the subject. I thought you would take the opportunity to work at the Bursary Foundation, but you surprised me by choosing to come here. For an outsider to truly enter a pre-existing circle is quite impossible just by giving donations and doing charity. Very wise, Alfred answered. Did something happen in Kokawa? It seems rather serious. He asked Haggis. I'm not so sure. I was hiding in an underground bunker at the general's residence. I later heard that there was a lightning storm at a Revival Square. Lightning storm? Alfred's gaze turned towards Dwayne again. Indeed. The hotel I was staying at isn't too far from the square. I did see continuous bolts of lightning striking that area. All that happened in the day. What happened to the end in the scene? Most of the area was in shambles. There are marks of lightning strikes, Haggis replied. Alfred nodded gently and pointed to the side before saying to Haggis and Dwayne, I still have other matters to attend to. We can chat later when the opportunity arises. See you again, Klein politely replied. He was watching Alfred leave when his body trembled. He made his head turn to the side. Who the fuck made Klein, a demigod, tremble? It's so crazy how, like, in in my mind, once Klein became a demigod, like, the forces that could really fuck with him became so few in numbers that, like, when Klein is walking through the world, he doesn't, like, obviously he needs to be on guard because, like, you know, kings of angels, angels in general, like, all that stuff. But, like, generally, you know, he's walking through. He's the shark everyone else needs to watch out for. But even then, the story does such a good job to remind you, like, hey, he's strong now, but he's still a small fish. In the primitive forest that covered east and west Balam, a figure slowly outlined with a black bent. He had a fleshy face with a slightly brown skin. His clothes were baggy and he had a rapier by his side. Oh shit! Medici's back, and he's holding Medici's back, and he's probably being controlled by and he's controlling Admiral Hell. Oh shit! To his side, this figure straightened his body. He was none other than Admiral Hell Ludwell, who had previously entered the underworld. However, at this moment, 2 clumps of blood-red flames were burning in his eye sockets. I'm starving, Ludwell opened his mouth. He then cast his gaze in a different direction. The owner of this marionette is over there. Fate has brought us together again. He has a hunter pathway item on him. It's perfect for replenishing myself. What does Klein have of the hunter pathway? Death Knell? Oh, probably Death Knell. Sequence 5 Reaper. Yeah, makes sense. You can get the weaknesses of others. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Just as he said that, a bloody mouth appeared on Ludwell's face. It opened and closed as it said, Medici, what we need to deal with first is our survival. After this marionette loses its connection to its owner, it's no different from the dead. The remnant spirit will quickly return to the spirit world and not be able to maintain the body. And without the underworld inside him, we will inevitably be weakened until we dissipate. The most pressing matter now is to find another gatekeeper. Another mouth appeared. Medici scoffed. Sauron, Einhorn. Were the 2 of you women in the past? Your natures as angels must have been left in the dumps because of you. He said, y'all are bitches, bro. Get it together. We're gonna be fine. That fellow was able to resist 008's arrangement several times, implying he's not simple. With a chance to lock onto him, how do we give it up? Once this marionette dies, things won't be that simple again. Besides, the hunter pathway item on him can effectively extend our existence. Once we finish him, it shouldn't be hard to find a gatekeeper. Medici, have you sacrificed your brain to the true creator? That fellow is advanced. In our current condition, defeating a bizarre sorcerer isn't difficult, but killing him is almost impossible. Even like an evil spirit, and not just a evil spirit, because a evil spirit would be like a high sequence beyond or dying. No. This is 3 angels put together, and they're like, bro, we can't kill him. He's cooked. Medici was frustrated and laughed. This isn't something unresolvable. As long as you allow me to chant my lord's name, helpers will arrive. A gatekeeper might even automatically be brought here. The mouth on Ludwell's right cheek opened and closed immediately. Sauron, let's work together to stop him and search for a gatekeeper. Alright, the mouth on the left cheek didn't hesitate. Upon seeing this, Medici laughed yet again. The 2 of you have fallen for it yet again. My goal has been met. I can confirm that the 2 of you were previously women. Bro, an actual fucking... He's an actual provoker. What a bitch. Shut up, the 2 mouths roared. We've been merged together for 2,000 years. Would we not know what tricks you're up to? There's no need to struggle again. As they spoke, the colors around Admiral Hell instantly saturated and stacked upon each other. He had entered the spirit world and began traversing. Are you telling me Klein hasn't noticed that his marionette has still has a connection to it and he hasn't cut it off yet? That's so unlike Klein. Outside the munitions warehouse, Klein retracted his gaze as his premonition for danger vanished. For a moment, he had a baffling feeling, but he was unable to project the scene in his mind. What the hell happened? Without waiting any further, Klein threw the suitcase in his hand to the officer who was in charge of handing it and taking it over. He then said to Haggis, "The rest is yours. You can give me the rest of the payment." It's due to the powers of Medici? What? Like, he can't sense the marionette due to Medici sort of overpowering it or whatever? Okay. He was referring to the heavy suitcases filled with gold bar and coins. Haggis had planned on having a few drinks with Dwayne after the completion of the deal to celebrate its success. He never expected Dwayne to be in such a hurry. "All right, it's on the carriage," he pointed and said. Alfred, who had already walked quite a distance, turned his head over, perplexed. He wasn't sure why Dwayne wasn't following the pre-designated procedure. Isn't Klein... What now? Isn't Klein tossed the... What? They might not have powers, but they have status as an angel evil spirit. Oh, okay. You know what I think of when I... Okay, so the title of chapter 966 is Train. Bro, I'm so fucking zoomer brained. This is what immediately pops in my head when I read when I read that. Can you guys see it? Yeah, you can. My brain is so zoomer coded. Oh god, oh god, I'm a fucking child. Seeing Alfred look over, Klein returned a smile and nodded. I suddenly sensed some danger. With that said, he calmly turned around and headed for the carriage, which... wait, did you guys not get the joke? I see a lot of question marks and what's in... Did you guys not get the joke? They did not. Oh. Well, I'm not gonna explain what a... Bro, I'm not gonna fucking explain what a fucking train is to children. What do you think I am? God damn it. I'm not gonna do that. Alright. If someone didn't get the joke, it's not supposed to be for you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You're too young and or too pure to know. You don't need to know. Don't worry about it. After Alfred, danger, Alfred repeated the word softly as he warily surveyed his surroundings. He slowed down his pace, constantly taking note of his surroundings before returning to the nearby 3-story building. Pagani glanced at the heavy expression wearing Alfred and asked, "What happened?" Dwayne suddenly left, said that he sensed some danger. Danger? Pagani didn't dismiss it as he looked around, but didn't notice anything. Alfred, you're too sensitive. I believe it's solely because Dwayne is a coward and unwilling to be here for too long. I didn't get the joke either. I'm not a child. Yes, Dr. Z, you're not a child, but you are... You're too pure, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that's like a bad thing, but... I'm not gonna explain that to you. Perhaps, Alfred retracted his gaze and frowned. After going to the hotel, Klein made Enzo, who had turned into a mixed-blood lad, open the suitcase in his hand. He took out the gold coins and bars one by one and did a count. It was valued at 30,000 lone gold coins and lone gold pounds. Is it close to what I think it is? No. I don't think so, Romero. Thankfully, my previous agreement with Miss Messengers are 10,000 lone coins. I don't need to make any more additional conversions. Sitting leisurely in his chair, Klein drank the sweet and sour but refreshing Guadar as he monitored his marionette. After Enzo separated the items, he took the adventurer's harmonica and blew into it. They are too innocent. Good for them. Renette Tynker walked out of the void with 4 blonde, red-eyed heads in hand. Her eyes turned towards the pile of gold and bars. After a few more seconds, the 4 heads said, "Very good. In the future, missions will cost more." What? Why? What? Renette Tynker's heads nodded. Mission price depends on your ability to earn money. I never expected that. Yeah, Miss Raynette. You know what? I don't like Raynette anymore. I don't like Miss Messenger. She's a socialist. Yeah, God, these communists, I'm telling you. They say just because you earn more money, they need more in taxes. God. Socialists. Never mind. She's going from an A to a B. She's gone from like top of B to bottom of B rank now. This is bad. She's a socialist. After Klein advanced to DEMI-GOD, the missions that he needed her help with were likely to increase in difficulty and danger. It seemed reasonable to raise the price. After Raynette swallowed the gold coins and vanished from the room, Klein reined in his thoughts. My expenses have been quite significant recently. I'm left with 17,000 pounds in cash. This pile of gold bars is worth 25,000. That makes for a total of more than 40,000. It's not something to dismiss in the Lone Kingdom. I can already buy a manor and some land. Arms dealing is profitable. Socialist. Worse than the Aurora Order, the Demoness sect, the Rose School of Thought. Socialist? No, I could forgive if she believed in the true creator or the mother tree of desire, but socialism? Raynette Tynker needed gold coins, so whatever was left were gold bars. Standing up and sending the gold bars above the grey fog, Klein walked to the window and cast his gaze to the north. With the matter coming to a close, he was poised to return to Backland. Looking at the horizon, Klein suddenly sighed. Backland. Northborough, Backland University of Technology. Isn't this where Backland University of Technology? Is this where Melissa was going? Am I crazy? Is this where Melissa was applying to? Yes? Okay. Audrey was touring the campus with a few members of the Bursary Foundation. She was dressed in simple light green dress. By her waist was a white, unadorned leather belt. Her blonde hair had a veiled hat with ribboned flowers that showed off her playful side. She didn't wear any other accessories other than a silver bangle on her left wrist. She looked no different from a female student that came from a middle class. Over the past few days, she had been to public primary schools that bordered the East Borough, and she had visited the technical schools in the area on the Backland Bridge. She already knew that the appropriate clothes needed for the occasion not treating charity work as another social scene. Her green, limpid eyes darted around slightly as she wore a faint smile. Balam University of Technology had recently sent out acceptance letters, and it was matriculation day for a new class of students. What is matriculation? I've heard the word before, but I don't actually know what it means. Matriculation. The act of matriculating at a college or university. Okay, well, what's matriculate? To be enrolled. I see, okay. Matriculation should have happened in late August or early September, but as a newly restructured university, Balam University of Technology's entrance exams were later than others. They had also delayed the results, which also meant that students that applied to the school had also participated in the examinations of other universities or might have already been accepted. Therefore, they had brought forward their registration work to confirm the matriculated numbers before deciding how many more students needed to be accepted. Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? Due to this, Audrey and the Bursary Foundation came to the first batch of approved applicants to complete their matriculation procedure. Whatever she could see, she discovered that students on campus wore a beaming expression, and every action made them exude confidence. Their words and actions had an indescribable vigor, one that seemed to have an immense hope for the future. This is so interesting. I was actually curious about this. Audrey didn't go to any kind of college or university or whatever, right? Is that just because she had that equivalent level of education from like home tutors? Because Audrey's at the age where she should be going to a university if she was a regular, like, middle class or upper middle class person. Okay. And this feeling was completely different from the few public primary schools that Audrey had experienced in the past. The students were either boorish and noisy or silent and gloomy. The common trait of theirs was uneasy and confused. Whenever they encountered strangers of status, they would be filled with trepidation. I really wish those kids will have a chance of receiving higher education and be like the students here who can work harder for a better future. As Audrey sighed, she swept her gaze to a male-female duo who were likely siblings. Yay! Melissa! She got in! Her elder brother had clearly stepped into society and started working. He wore a silk top hat and a rather thin black formal suit. He appeared to be in his 30s and had an air resembling a civil servant. He had borrowed a rather old camera from somewhere and placed it on a tripod. He gestured for his younger sister to move and adjust her posture as he searched for the best angle. It is so good to see them. The sister was about 17 or 18, and her black hair simply cascaded down. Her brown eyes had a look of exasperation, but she didn't say a word as she listened to her brother's instructions. Such a combination was everywhere on campus. Some of them had parents and their child, while others were a group of friends. What a beautiful scene, Audrey thought. She then looked away and continued moving forward. It was a square, and in the middle of it was a decommissioned steam locomotive. Good for you guys. Let's go. Everything's going good for them. Benson got the job he wanted, and Melissa got into the school she wanted. Very good. The behemoth-like steam locomotive spewed out smoke as it hauled its long body onto a platform. A mixed-blood 7 or 8-year-old girl who looked like a doll held her mother's hand as she waited in a long line. She asked her father, who was similarly mixed-blood, about Desi Bay. Amidst her shuffling, she saw a gentleman with white sideburns and a top hat holding a gold cane. He had a servant with brown skin as he walked towards first class. The servant looked around curiously and said, "Sir, the recent situation is different from what I imagined. I thought the people from Balam would lead tough and difficult lives. But there was none of them. We even drank water and smoked cigarettes. There were even people who could afford bikes. As you know, although I have Balam blood in me, I was born in Backland. I've never seen the southern continent. Of course, my Dutney still isn't bad." The middle-aged gentleman chuckled. "That's only because we went to the cities and the regions that aren't too bad. The saddest people of Balam live in villages and in plantations. The rest take up residence around factories, creating slums. We never had the chance to see them. As though sensing the girl's notice, the gentleman with his deep blue eyes and his servant looked over and gave us a warm smile. The corners of their lips curled up in a smile, revealing the 8 teeth before they nodded gently and looked away. Before long, the girl and her parents boarded the same steam locomotive and found their seats. Do you know what's happening here? I don't think so, Thunder. Bye, Pushkar. No worries, man. I appreciate you popping by at all. Appreciate you. So, we'll hopefully see you for a night stream. I don't know if we're gonna have a night stream today, because I really want to start working on the Volume 4 video today. So depending on how long and how much I work on that today, there may or may not be a night stream. I don't know. When the whistle sounded again, the girl saw a man with dark brown skin, soft facial features, and a red lump on his cheek walk over with his head bowed. Interesting. He pressed his hand on his hat and quickly walked down the aisle as he headed for the head of the train. Who the hell is this guy? Who is the girl? Justin, I don't know what to do for the Volume 3 video, man. I've been thinking about it for so fucking long, and I think I'm just gonna skip. Maybe I'll make a video for it later. I don't know. I don't know what I feel about it. I've been trying so long to, like, articulate my thoughts on it. I sit down, I write, like, a paragraph, and then I read it, and I go, this is so dog shit, and then I just delete it. And then I'm like, ugh, okay, I'm going to take a break. I don't know what the fuck to write. And then, like, a couple days later, I'll write another paragraph, completely different. I'll be like, this fucking dog shit, what is this? And then I just delete, and I just keep doing that. I've just given up on it. I don't know. The man knocked on the partition before quickly entering the operator's compartment and saying to the train driver, all the train attendants have been swapped with our men. The bridge ahead is where the sacrifice will be held. Are they fucking blowing up the train? May God be satisfied with the sacrificial items on this train. Let's hope we gain eternal life in the kingdom. The steam locomotive drove under a bridge before cruising past a huge bridge. After a long trip, it arrived at the destination, the pier. The doll-like mixed-blood girl was somewhat sleepy and no longer as lively as before. Under her parents' lead... I remember this mission from Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, me too, ZQ. Me too. Under her parents' lead, she followed the crowd and inched towards the door. There were a few attendants at the door who were helping some of the passengers remove their luggage. When the girl and her parents walked past, these attendants smiled and revealed 8 teeth, showcasing a warm smile. After the girl jumped onto the platform, she looked back at them, subconsciously. She saw figures standing outside the door, discussing something. Amongst them was a train conductor, as well as a man with lumps on his cheek. A second later, these people turned their heads and smiled, revealing 8 teeth. The girl retracted her gaze and skipped along as she left the platform with her parents. What the fuck is happening here? I thought... How did the girl and her parents live? I thought something was... What? I mean, I'm glad they lived, don't get me wrong, but... This is so annoying. Give me one quick second. The Beyonder power is so subtle that we heard. Yeah, like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let's just keep going. Okay. Cold winds blew across the platform at night, causing the hanging lamps to sway. The light of dusk stretched and shortened from time to time in the scene, allowing the steam locomotive that was quietly parked on the tracks to oscillate between being cloaked in the shadows or escaping the darkness. It had an indescribable sense of gloominess and death. At this moment, a squad of black and white checkered policemen entered the platform. Under the lead of the railway, the company duties manager walked to the huge train. For some reason, after all the passengers disembarked, all the train staff, including the train drivers, returned to the carriage and never came out. I sent people to look for them and get them out, but they ran out like they'd been infected by some kind of disease. All they could do was shout hysterically, "They're dead! They're all dead!" The railway duty manager held a lamp as he briefed the police department. So this person is saying that all the passengers got out and just the train staff died. But that seems unlikely. That feels like the terrorists, yeah. From his stammering and trembling body, the police could tell the horror in him. It was as though a sudden tap on his shoulder would cause him to jump and rush for the exits. His emotions infected the police. All of them held their hands to their waist as they pressed onto their holster. The leather shoes hitting the solid, hard ground left reverberating echoes. The police followed the duty managers. The terrorists, who all had same smiles. Yeah, they all had the 8 teeth or whatever. Same smiles. Can someone make clones of themselves? Is that a thing? Inside the carriage, there were 2 people sitting in each row. They were distributed to the left and the right, and they stood away from the windows, leaning against the back of their seats. Why are you not? I don't know. Through the illumination of the gas lamps outside and the lanterns in their hands, the inspectors led them. The inspectors leading them very quickly recognized the scene before them. Here were the staff of the steam locomotive. They were wearing blue uniforms that differed from men and women and were sitting in different seats in silence. Their faces were pale and their eyes wide open. Although there weren't any sounds of breathing, the corners of their lips were curved up, revealing 8 teeth. It was an extremely bizarre and terrifying scene. All they wished was to turn around and leave. The leading inspector drew 2 deep gasps and instructed his constables, Go confirm if they're dead. Follow him and see if there's anyone missing or excess people." All right, sir, the duty manager said. He and the constables ventured deep into the carriage, and the other policemen drew their revolvers and maintained on alert. In an unbearable silence, time ticked until slowly one of the constables stopped and said, "It's confirmed. All of them are dead." The railway manager stuttered. "There are 2 missing, the train driver and the train conductor." It was an extremely bizarre scene. What? Are you trying to imply Klein did this? I don't think so. Call me crazy, but I don't think he would do it. Oh, wait. What? Did Klein notice what was happening and kill all the staff and kill all the terrorists? But then what's with the dumbass smile? With the 8 teeth or whatever. What? Am I dumb? The inspector calmed down significantly when he realized that nothing had happened all this time. He said to his constables, maintain the corpse's present state and await the autopsy. Meanwhile, split into 2 teams. One team is to head to the other carriages to search for the train conductor and the driver, while the other team is to check for clues and relevant information. Once the sun rises, we will begin investigations, and starting with the train personnel and the passengers who were previously on board, we will search for any commonalities. Although many passengers didn't present their identification documents, the inspectors believed that it was possible to find people who had registered themselves and learn from them any abnormalities. Just as he said that, a biting cold wind stirred, blowing through the carriage. When all this came to an end, the officer was about to emphasize his orders when he noticed something. The steam locomotive members who were in their seats had their eyes open and whistles showing and their faces pale. However, their mouths had closed at some point in time and they were no longer showing their 8 teeth. Inside a luxurious hotel, the wall lamps shone brightly on the carpeted region where a desk stood. Klein had transformed into Gehrman and was sitting on a single-seater. He had his left leg crossed over his right. Beside him was Enzo. In front of him stood a row of cultist marionettes. Dr. Z, what are you doing? How have you had your last 4 messages deleted? Are you okay? They had circled from different streets, donning different looks to gather here. Who made you do the sacrifice? Klein asked. After advancing to Sequence 4 and becoming a Bizarro sorcerer, not only was he able to read the thoughts of his marionette's superficial consciousness, he could also use the increased control of their spirit body threads to do things similar to spirit channeling. Merlin, how's it going, man? How you doing? Have you noticed Klein having a conversation as marionette? Oh, yes, you're right, Thunder. Oh, interesting. He couldn't do that before, but now he can. Ah, okay. Of course, the higher the level of the marionette, the poorer the effects of the spirit channeling. After a brief silence, the conductor said, "It's a revelation from God." Which God? God is God. There are no others. How did he reveal his revelation? What did he say exactly? He gave a revelation through a divine item, requesting us to sacrifice many lives to pleasure him. In return, he would give us eternal life in his kingdom. Adam, no, I did not. Sacrifice many lives. Compared to the numinous episcopate and the Rose School of Thought, prefers doing such things. They've always been infamous for blood sacrifices, but to have eternal life in God's kingdom is closer to the numinous episcopate. Of course, I can't just eliminate that that it was fabricated, Klein pondered. What divine item? The man took out an item from his inner pocket. It was a cloth doll of shabby craftsmanship. Is this similar to like the numinous episcopate anyway? Adam, I see what you're trying to get me to do. You're not going to slow down my pace, bitch. Easy, strongest soldier looking ass, no shot. We ride at dawn, bitches. We keep riding. Okay. God will issue us commands at a specific time through it. I bought it at a flea market, the man said. Klein thought of many possibilities before getting Enzo to take the cloth doll and scrutinize it. From his experience, this meant that the problem wasn't with the doll. It meant there were two probabilities. First, someone was using the doll as a decoy while acting as a deity nearby. Second, it was a truly secret existence who had specially labeled the item to send a revelation. If it's the former, the train attendant's death would have been discovered and the premonitions would have been made. If it's the latter, nothing would be detected. Klein contemplated for a moment and made Enzo place the cloth door on the desk in front of the mirror. He then stood up and instantly transformed into another train attendant and stood in front of the cultists. Similar changes happened when Enzo returned. After an unknown period of time, the night grew deeper. Suddenly, on the desk, bathed in crimson moonlight, the cloth doll with curved eyes and mouth moved its limbs and stood up. Interesting. The plot thickens. The cloth doll turned its lifeless eyes before standing straight up. It looked at the area that the crimson moonlight had failed to illuminate. There, the man with the lumpy cheeks and the other cultists had been standing, but at this moment they bowed their heads, praying piously. About 2 or 3 seconds later, the cloth doll finally stood straight up, just as it was about to open its tongueless mouth and produce a sound that didn't belong to the body it was in. Its movements turned sluggish. Hidden amongst the cultists, Klein had a strange spiritual thread extend from the cloth direction, and without any hesitation he was controlling it. Okay, no worries, Merlin. Good luck for the exam, man. If I don't see you between now and then, yeah, I'm sure you're gonna do great. Don't worry about it. Hidden amongst the cult. Inside the wall, lamp-illuminated room, the lights dimmed instantly. The doll with the curved eyes... Gotta go back to work too. I'm on shift. Okay, no worries, Adam. Go do your work. Alright, thanks for popping by, buddy. The doll with the curved eyes and mouths instantly lost the support that seemed to arise from having a skeleton before slumping to the table. Amidst the flickering streetlights, they were more than 1,000 meters away. Klein lost control over the blob of spirit threads. The power that descended with the help of the doll took less than 2 seconds to escape his range. A biting cold wind swept up inside the room as the rug with tables and chairs above was instantly tugged, sending the men with the lumpy cheeks and most of the other cultists tumbling. Only the disguised Klein had jumped up to avoid the accident. Of course, the winner, Enzo, stood perfectly fine at the border of the rug, unaffected. Dude, being a winner is so handy. It's just like, oh, is there a meteor falling? Oh, well, wouldn't you know, I'm standing in the one spot that didn't fall. Amidst the cold winds, the rug rolled up and bound the few cultists and covered their noses and mouth tightly. Meanwhile, the fountain pen on the table had their caps removed autonomously before shooting forward and stabbing into the neck of the man with a lumpy cheek. Who can control inanimate objects? What pathway? Was it the... Is it the prisoner pathway? Okay, yeah. Okay, thanks, Gummy. Okay, that's what I'm thinking immediately. Momo, I don't think I've seen you here before, man. Thanks for popping by. How you doing? Near the wall, a pipe of wall lamp cracked, causing the gas to whistle out. The cloth that draped the sofa rose up, tied itself into a robe, and wrapped around the train conductor's throat. attempting to kill all signs of life inside. Klein tried to dodge, but his shirt, pants, belt, coat, and hat seemed to have a life of their own, and locked him down. He suddenly opened his mouth and let out a sound. Pah! He had imitated the sound of snapping his fingers. Flames surged out from his clothes, instantly blanketing his body and removing the restraints. At this moment, the cloth on another sofa rose up as though it was draped over someone. What the fuck is happening? This strange scene reflected in Klein's eyes immediately as he trembled and turned stiff, as if he'd been possessed. The flames that soared up from behind hadn't been extinguished, and they were burning away his clothes and flesh, only to reduce him into a pitch-black paper figurine. Behind this figurine was a pattern covered with feathers. It was a surreal and illusory feeling. This was the mutated paper figurine that had been tainted with death's aura. Klein knew that there were only two situations possible for the doll to mutate. One was that the entity disguising as a god was nearby and had sensed the death of the cultists. Hence, preparations were made via deliberate descent, laying the trap for the antagonist. Another was that the one using the doll was indeed some secret existence. He wasn't aware of the sacrificial ritual he had foiled and descended at a predetermined time to give the next round of revelations. Regardless which it meant danger. Based on the characteristics of a descent or a possession, he had already placed the paper figurine which had mutated because of the corruption of the artificial death's aura in the iron cigar case. He had also maintained the level of his marionette at the level of an ordinary person so as to lure his target into possessing him. At this moment, the possession target of the god was the cultist worshipped had gone from Klein to the death paper figurine. Oh, he's trying to get him to take over the paper figurine so that the paper figurine can probably just cause havoc. Oh. As the scarlet flame swept about, the pitch-black paper figurine ignited as a pale white color spread out. A rather painful grunt sounded as a transparent afterimage flashed across the windows tinted with crimson moonlight. Almost at the same time, the items came alive inside the room and fell to the ground, returning to their lifeless state. As for Enzo, flames were swirling around him. At this moment, in the port city north of the southern continent, the residents were enjoying the comfort and the warmth of their clothes. They didn't notice that their glass windows and the surfaces of their lamps would dim before returning to normal. Alongside this dimming environment, and the flames in the fireplace either intensified or dwindled. During this process, the glass window in that room dimmed the most, and the fluctuations in the flames kept happening. However, the believers in the room were praying to the primordial moon, paying no notice to what was happening. After an unknown period of time, the crimson moonlight brightened a little, as though covering the city in a veil. Such brightness quickly returned to normal as a scarlet flame flared up on the silver candle on the dining table. Enzo walked out of it as his body and face rapidly changed into Gehrman. Just moments ago, at the instant where the crimson moon brightened, he lost his target. No, Kami, no clue. Does that mean someone is passing through them or something? So mean, Dr. Z. Jesus Christ, you know you could just answer, right? My god. It's the puppet demigod using the dimming lights and Klein using the flames to chase him? Okay. See? You know what, just once, Dr. Z, I want to see you read a book or a piece of media that I know all about, and then I'm going to shit all over you for not understanding everything. God. not only possessing the Beyonder powers of a high-sequence Beyonder of the Wraith pathway, but can also borrow the power of the Crimson Moon. Regarding these two aspects, one of them is likely to be possible with a sealed artifact or an item. Klein muttered silently as he came to a judgment. After the demigod who possessed the doll had been corrupted by the death paper figurine, he believed that he had a chance to take his opponent down. To his surprise, his enemy's strength and means available to him were more varied and potent than he expected. The only thing he could confirm that it wasn't an angel, and that their strength and level were far inferior to one. Just as this thought flashed through his mind, Klein left the dining room and entered the activity room. There were a few believers praying to the moon. Unlike the cultists on the train, they knew who they were praying to, as though they were more formal. 1, 2, 3. Klein entered the room in an unhurried pace as they turned their heads and noticed him. I'm slightly tempted you will not find it fun. I assure you, you will not find it fun, Dr. Z. After how you've tortured me, I swear to God, I would be like, oh, she doesn't get the twist that happens 400 pages from now. You fool. With the powerful illusion of a bizarro sorcerer, they treated Gehrman as an oracle that had descended upon them. They saw a bright moon halo at his head. The believers plopped to their knees. Who was the saint you met previously? Klein asked. Drop some spoilers too, yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta play both sides, yeah. I gotta hit her with the spoilers and then be depressed that she didn't get the other stuff. Right, oh, yeah, I gotta do both sides. Yes, you're right. Oracle, it was Shaman King Klarman. Klarman? Isn't this the guy who wrote the book Klein got from Sharon and Merrick or something? Wasn't this guy like 2,000 years old? That's a familiar name. The author of the Book of Secrets. Isn't he dead? He lived over a millennia ago. Saints of non-special pathways have no way of living that long. He joined the Rose School of Thought but still believes in the moon? Through some means he extended his life, or could it be that his sequence affords him a long life? Klein's mind whirred as he recalled the origins of the name Klarman. A sailboat was docked by the pier with a faint moonlight illuminating the captain's interior. The figure with frizzled black hair with white streaks in them walked out of the mirror. He wore a black robe in crimson patterns. He had wrinkles that were neither too deep nor too shallow. At this moment, on his skin he exposed, such as the back of his hand, his pores had expanded, producing white feathers. The elder's expression was somewhat warped, as if he was enduring pain. He quickly sat on the bedside, bowed his head and clasped his hands, and silently chanted. In his jarring voice, his forehead slowly cracked open, revealing a full moon that seemed to be embedded in it. The moonlight dispersed and cloaked the elder, causing the white feathers on him to contract and recede into nothingness. But at this moment, his abdomen bloated up as though it was filled with liquid. Finally, his clothes, together with his skin, tore apart as a blob of flesh and blood covered with white feathers flew out onto the deck. After squirming for a bit, it rotted and died. The elder looked up and exhaled. Death's blessed? But death is no more. Death is no more is such a hard line for something for no fucking reason at all. Autumn, how's it going, man? How you doing? How you doing? What do you think this demigod cultist would do if he knew the one if he knew he is the one who helped Klein the most with mysticism by his book, I think he would be proud. I think he'd be like, damn, you know, I was able to help someone become this fucking strong, even after 1,000 years. I'm goated. Okay, you see, my book might not have sold well back then, but that's because the masses didn't get it. It didn't have broad stream appeal, okay? I always knew I was a good writer, and this is just proof. This is a saint who's only here because of me. Goated. I think he would be like, damn, I'm good. Or maybe that's just how I would be. I don't know. Okay. Early in the morning, the Church of Storm's punishers, who had taken over the case of the mysterious death of the steam locomotive, had received new intel. The missing conductor and driver, as well as a few suspicious passengers, had been found. Before long, the Punisher team followed the clues and found their targets. They were silently hung outside a building in a row. Jesus Christ, Klein hit them with a public execution? I mean, they were already dead because they were marionettes, but he just hung them outside to dry? This is a provocation, the Punisher's captain growled. But they had lowered the corpses and carried out their investigations inside the room. They saw that these people had been piously praying to the primordial moon in the living room, holding a rather diabolical ritual. Apprehend all of them, the Punisher captain issued a command. They believed of all the primordial moons seemed to regain their reason as they tried to resist. However, they were quickly suppressed, either dying or being injured in the process. The Punisher captain surveyed the area and said to his peers they didn't notice the row of corpses hanging in their doorstep. Those corpses might have been left there to guide us to investigate the area. The captain nodded in thought. Wait, what? What is happening? Sorry, my fucking book is just jumping around everywhere for some reason today. These corpses might have been left here to guide us to investigate the area. The captain calmed himself and said, which church's demigod passed by here? What are your thoughts on the Bizarro Sorcerer's acting principles? Ooh, that's actually a great question. I think Sorcerer, in theory, is very similar to Magician. I've already talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to continue. But so I think the Sorcerer part is kind of like a misdirection. I think Klein needs to be more focused on the Bizarro part. I think he just needs to act as a fucking Looney Tunes. I think he needs to act like Gear 5 Luffy, you know, just walking through the day, and he's like, you know, if I like stepped really hard, the ground would become soft, and it'd kind of be like I'm walking on Jello. If someone walks by and they say hello, I just go just out of my fucking mind. I'm on meth, you know. I think that's the external part. I think you need to act as bizarre, but then internally, you need to know that one, it's an act. You need to recognize, once again, you know, separating the you from your act. So like recognizing that, like, hey, I'm sane, but like I'm gonna act as out of my fucking mind. And second is the sorcerer part, like understanding that it's a act and it's for an audience. Like, hey, I'm doing it to presumably, I would assume, entertain people, and you're looking for a specific kind of feedback. So you want people to be like, hey, that guy's fucking weird, huh? Jesus. I don't know. That's what I get out of it. Khaled, how's it going, man? How you doing? Has the number of marionette? No, not yet, Khaled, which is annoying the piss out of me, bro. How many? Backland, Westboro, within the Odora family's villa. Emlyn White, who had been summoned, took off his hat and coat and entered the activity room. In this area, there were a few other Sanguine members who had been called by name to meet the important figure. Adorning his cut face... Wait, what? Emlyn picked a spot right beside a man with a nose so high that it seemed to be deformed. Adorning his cut face was brown hair and red eyes. He held a comic in his hand, reading through it aimlessly. He was none other than the sanguine who had provided Emlyn with the information about the abandoned castle. His name was Ernest Boyar, a Viscount. Emlyn is also a Viscount now, right? And he's looking to be a Baron? What's 5? I don't know. Emlyn had planned on visiting the Viscount in the next couple of days, but he never expected to bump into him. After some careful consideration, he said, "Your lordship, I would like to know where you obtained the intel regarding the abandoned castle." Yeah, I know Scarlet Sorcerer. Kami, I just don't know what the sanguine title for, what the vampire title for it is. Why? Did your client say there weren't any ancient wraiths? The man moved his glance. No, not at all. I'm just very curious. On the source of the intel. It doesn't seem that simple. Count, Marquis, Duke. All 3? It's not a secret. I learned of it from Lord Nibs. To be frank, I'd never heard of it before. I find it hard to imagine that there is such an ancient castle in Delaire Forest. Lord Nibs. It's another test. But isn't it too dangerous? It needed Mr. Fool to resolve it. Your lordship, why don't you explore that castle? I remember you being an archaeologist. And during this process, you'll be able to obtain the corresponding beyonder ingredients of an ancient wraith. No, I think Viscount, then Marquis, then Duke, then Prince. Oh, I see. Okay, thanks, GSV. So, okay, next is Viscount for 5, then it's Duke for 4, and then it's Prince for 3. Okay. What is 2 and 1? King and Emperor? Lord Nips told me that it's very dangerous. One shouldn't approach unless they're at the level of an earl. Oh. Then why didn't you warn me? Isn't it obvious? How can a location with beyonder creatures present, one that's known by the sanguine, still exist if not for special reasons? Oh, wait. 6 for Baron, 5 for Viscount. Makes sense. 4 for Earl. 3 for Marquis. 2 for Duke. Prince for 1. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate all that, but I'm going to ask you guys again in like 2 months' time, having forgotten all of this. Emlyn fell into a daze and added, as Ernest added, normal reasoning should be like this. Ancient wraiths might still exist in the place in Delaire Forest. People have encountered it before, but they were unable to find its origins. This means that that finding those ancient wraiths is very difficult and troublesome. The time exceeds their value. I thought I'd have easily discovered the problem with this reasoning. Likewise for your client, if they chose to take action, they must have possessed some confidence. At that instant, Emlyn felt the Viscount make plenty of sense. He could hardly rebut him. He believed that it was nothing he believed that it was nothing except the fact that he and Miss Magician were too foolish, resulting in her slamming head first into danger. This had nothing to do with him. The next instant, Emlyn felt embarrassed and frustrated. Emlyn then figured out the problem. Regardless of whether the intel exposes danger or not, Ernest Bauer should have clearly informed me of this point. Because figuring out the level of danger, the source of danger, and how the danger manifested, it held immense importance in the subsequent exploration. He did it on purpose. Indeed, it's easy to tell, but I'm more cautious about the danger lurking in that abandoned ancient castle. I'm not sure either. Lord Nibs didn't mention it. Emlyn's expression sank. Just as he was about to make a remark, he saw Cosmiadora walk out and say, "Emlyn, it's time for the meeting." Alright, Emlyn reined in his thoughts and pressed onto the bottom half of his vest, standing up. Sorry, I just looked at the chat and I was like, what the fuck is happening? It's just like, it's a clusterfuck in here. Listen, I have one solution for it, but if I do it again, I think Dr. Z will disown me forever, so we're gonna keep that one in our back pocket unless we have to, okay? It's fine. You see what I mean? With all my 34 accounts, no. My subscriber count is gonna take a hit if she does. No, we can't take that chance. Oh, true, even that wouldn't work because it was Amnesiac who did it. Okay. Following him down the stairs, he couldn't help but ask, "Baron Cosme, who am I meeting? How should I address him?" Duke Ulmer. Duke? Duke is a sequence too? Oh, shit. Duke Ulmer. Emlyn subconsciously straightened his back and cast his gaze to the lamps on the wall. He used the reflection to check on his surface. He was one of the 3 dukes that held up the Sanguine, an ancient powerhouse who existed before the Cataclysm. His title was Round Moon, with an age that exceeded 3,000 years. He had once followed in the footsteps of ancestor Lilith. Yeah, I knew he was an angel, but still, just getting like a... Okay, he's a sequence 2. It's like, okay, it's like, holy shit. You know? It's quite something. Without a doubt, this was synonymous with the history and the glory of the Sanguine. After passing through several doors, Emlyn and Cosme arrived inside the metal grey hall. The ground and the walls were filled with green grass, flowers, and grain. Insects were crawling between the plants, making Emlyn feel as though he had left the city and arrived somewhere rural. Such a scene didn't seem odd, but after some careful inspection, he found some odd points. The grass had mouths like crevices, with fibers flying out to capture the insects. The flowers used their leaves as hands to harvest the pollen for themselves. The grains were heavy, occasionally emitting wailing from inside. There was a myriad of spectrum of extraordinary insects. Some had snakes for heads, others birds. What the fuck is happening here? These things grew lusher the closer it was to the middle of the hall. Surrounding the area was a grave filled with an exuberant spirit. Ramiro having his fucking Dexter arc as his monthly Dexter arc. He's like, okay, there's a great place to do some fucking bodies. Just here to check if I have a Cosme faced the grave and bowed. "Your Grace, Emlyn White is here." "Good afternoon, Your Grace." Emlyn didn't don his usual arrogance, and in fact was a little flustered. Inside the grave, a mellow voice, which didn't betray its owner's age, chuckled. "A very outstanding young Sanguine. Cosme, you may leave for now." I dropped extra for that girl. Are you talking about the fucking British tattooed chick in like season 2, Romero? God, you're so obvious. Yes, Your Grace. Cosme bowed in response and left the area. Emlyn stood there, listening to the mellow voice from the grave. Is he so old and decrepit he can't get out of the grave? Bitch, stand up. Say hi. Alright, I'm gonna start watching One Piece from tomorrow. Wish me luck. Wait, like you're gonna start for fresh, Mr. Loki? Like from episode 1? Oh shit. Good luck, man. Good luck. When you get to Marineford, let me know, okay? I want to watch that with you. TSV, no. Okay. In the morning, Nibs informed me that you obtained the artificial vampire Beyonder characteristic belonging to a Viscount. Yes, but it has been corrupted and requires purification. Emlyn had mentioned the need to remove the mental corruption in the characteristic, because he believed it was a trivial matter to the Sanguine. At the very least, Baron Cosme had confirmed it was possible. Ulmer tersely acknowledged, Very well. I'll personally purify the characteristic. Ooh, shit. Although the Sanguine enjoy a long life, we still mature and grow old. There will be new births and deaths, regardless. Nurturing young members is a necessity for any race. As for the excellent talent and the outstanding abilities you have recently showcased, they have made you a target we place great importance on. Therefore, I personally came to meet you to give some tests so as to expedite your growth. Oh, shit. Mr. Loki, I already know he's sequence 2. Can you remember the 3 ways of verifying a characteristic? Wasn't it basically like... I remember 2 of them, Dr. Z. One was like you had to take you had to get something that could steal the Beyonder characteristic or some bullshit of the item so as to take the curse, and then you use the item right away so that it can't regain the characteristic, and then the other item becomes useless, kind of like what we did with Tinder. Or second was what this guy I assume is gonna do, was that like you needed the power at the level of an angel or a god. You could pray to them and they would come down and they would destroy the characteristic so that the curse would go away, and then it would scatter into light and it would recondense into the characteristic again. Those are the 2 I remember, yeah. Sequence 4 Demigods of the Sun pathway can do it too? Oh shit, okay, cool. I did not know that. So once the little son goes to sequence 4, we can just have him do that. He just needs to, he's at sequence 5, so he's not far. I mean, I know the bridge between 5 and 4 is big, but like, you know what I mean. He then sighed inwardly. Indeed, just as the hanged man determined, there will be a test and mission as well as an interview. Emlyn replied reverently, I am always prepared. Not bad. Your next mission is to find the key members of the Rose School of Thought hiding in Backland. There are very few clues to this, and many situations will require you to carry out investigations by yourself. Rose School of Thought? They have a grudge with the Sanguine? They seem to be taking in some believers of the moon. Emlyn knew quite a bit about the Rose School of Thought via the Tarot Club, but he deliberately hid this. Apart from taking in believers of the moon, of the primordial moon, they have in their possession one of the holy artifacts of us Sanguine, something left by the ancestors. We need to retrieve it. There was a solemnity in Ulmer's voice. Your Grace, I'll work hard to find the key members of the Rose School of Thought. Ulmer's voice turned mellow. Very good. Get some of the intel from Cosme in a while and seek out the incisive point. Your Grace, do you know about the abandoned castle in Delaire Forest? You wish to head there? It's very dangerous, Ulmer said. Alright, Thunder, thanks for popping by, buddy. Have a great rest of your day or night. I'll catch you later. Bye. What kind of danger? Emlyn asked. That ancient castle may be older than me, even older than the Delaire forest. I do not know who built it. I only know there's something sealed underground, hiding an immense secret. Any creature that approaches it will be in danger of being corrupted by the force within. We once imagined that it has something to do with the abyss, but a devil suffered corruption after being thrown into the castle as well. Then why didn't you attempt to open the seal and figure it out? Emlyn mumbled inwardly. Omer didn't speak further as he ended the conversation and dismissed Emlyn. Wiz, you don't know how to laugh evilly? No, I don't. I don't claim to be a voice actor, okay? I just do my best. In the evening, Backland was covered with dark clouds as a drizzle began to fall. Emlyn White wore a hat and walked under the sheltered veranda, his eyes locked onto the Viscount Ernest Boyer, who was browsing some antique stores. He was upset that Ernest had given him incomplete intel, so he subconsciously tailed him. But after a while, he felt lost. He hadn't figured out how to deal with Ernest, or how severe a lesson he should teach him. I don't know if you can teach him a lesson, bro. He's stronger than you. I gotta say... Alright, bye, Luvion. I appreciate you popping by, man. Jump him. To jump him, Emlyn needs friends. He doesn't have those. God, the music is so good. Commission? Mr. World, someone is bullying me. I need you to beat him up. I'll pay you. God damn it, this fucking guy. Alright. After blankly following Ernest, Emlyn abandoned his thoughts. He couldn't help but think, how do I punish him? Although he's done so because he likely followed orders or a cue, it's despicable. As for Lord Nibs, I don't have the ability. But once I become a marquis or a duke, I'll make him pay. Miss Magician has already completed her exploration of the castle. I'm not sure if Lord Nibs had sent Sanguine to monitor the area. From her tone and description, the feedback from the fool, there's probably nothing. Could it be that Lord Nibs didn't send any Sanguine to the castle? But what's the point of it? Could it be that they missed something? Emlyn becomes a duke? Yeah, I don't... If Emlyn became a demigod, I'd be surprised. Amidst his thoughts, Emlyn felt that he needed to get someone to discuss the matter of punishing Ernest Boyer. Subconsciously, the first choice that came to mind was the Hanged Man, a senior member of the Tarot Club, who had shown to be extremely experienced. After hesitating, Emlyn struck down this choice. This was because this matter involved a Sanguine. To consult the Tarot Club members before he obtained an answer would damage his pride. By the same reason, he eliminated the world. Emlyn is goated, you just don't believe, Wiz? What do you think the start of this volume? It's a little slow, Khaled. I will say, I think the reveal of the cocoon was such brilliant writing because Klein's immediate goal was now solved, and instead of giving any time between, like, okay, now, like, let's solve the problem, let's let Klein feel lost for a little bit, like, we don't know what the purpose is. No. He immediately had a new goal, which was like, fuck. Fuck, you know, like, I'm never going home, so I want to find out who made me come here. So, like, I really like it in that sense, but, like, other than that, it's a little slow. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. The ending of Volume 4 was really action-packed, so it's okay to have a little slow. Let's bet. What will you do if he becomes, and what do you want us to do? Dr. Z, I'm not taking a bet. Okay, this is the first time you've offered me a bet, so this is as close to a fucking rigged bet as I've ever seen anything ever be. There's 2 entire fucking books left. Well, like a book and a half left. Fuck that. If I'm taking that action, you're out of your goddamn mind. Yeah, I wouldn't trust you as far as I can fucking throw you, Justin. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, I will make you a deal that Sharon will become a demigod. If she does, everyone has to join a membership. If she doesn't, I cosplay as Sharon. Random character. Random. She said random, not Emlyn. Random. What? Why are you guys? Rigged. Scammer. I don't know. We'll think of it. Okay, we'll think of a bargain. I don't know. We'll think of a bargain. What we'll do, Dr. Z? We'll think of a bargain. I don't know offhand, but I'll think of one. We could either make one book-wise. To a degree, I would have to be the one who's proposing it, because again, you guys already know, so it's not fair for you guys to do it. But like we can figure out parameters, or we can do some Ludwig kind of thing where like, okay, we'll play like a game or something, and then we'll base it off of that. I don't know. Do you know the name of this volume? The Red Priest. Yes, I know. He then realized that he had no one to choose from. He had 0 friends. Yeah, you bitch. Eliminating his parents, who were sanguine as well, he only had 2 or 3 people in mind. There were a Harvest Church fathers. There was the Harvest Church's father, Utravsky, Detective Sherlock. Sherlock hasn't returned to Backland. I can only seek out Utravsky tomorrow, but I can't be that direct. Emlyn made up his mind and walked past Ernest and headed for the end of the veranda. Getting onto a carriage, he felt the wheels turning, and as he casually glanced out the window, Audrey retracted her gaze from the rainy scene outside and glanced at her lady maid, Annie, before communicating with Susie silently. The look in her eyes, her expression, and her obvious body language said, "We're almost home. I'm nervous." On the ground, Susie shook her tail, raised her paw, and adjusted the gold-rimmed glasses hanging by her neck. Together with the changes in the color of her ether body and the body of heart and mind, she expressed herself. "Don't worry, that Ma'am Escalante, who's a psychiatrist on the surface, is only a telepathist. She won't be able to see through your lies." Audrey nodded gently and watched the carriage enter home. I love how Susie's a higher sequence than Audrey's teacher. She's like, "Bitch, what are you teaching me? My dog knows more than you." Oh, that's so. The rich get richer, I'm telling you. Ever since joining the Lone Charity Bursary Foundation, she had begun spending less time at home. She had originally planned on meeting Ma'am Escalante in the North Borough, but since Dwayne Dantes had left for the Southern Continent and wasn't in the Foundation, there was no need for that. If she finds out, she might lose control on the spot. Yeah, I have spent the last 3 years studying, and your dog is stronger than me, and just self-immolates like she saw the fucking EBS. Like, just like, ah! In the study she called her own, Audrey met Escalante. "I must apologize. I'd been busy meeting friends after returning to Backland. My subsequent joining of the Bursary Foundation has delayed my meeting with you." Audrey bowed. In fact, she had been deliberate. By dragging out their meeting for about a month, her digestion of the psychiatrist potion and advancement to hypnotist became rather reasonable. It was the progress one would expect from a genius. Reminds me of the time Miss Sammer found how much... I know, yeah, Miss Sammer was like... If Mrs. Sammer was a fucking Beyonder, she would have just lost control on the spot. Like, she was shook. She was like... She was shook. She was like... The dog is like... The dog is... I can't remember what the number... But the dog was like 3 or 4 years of her husband's salary. And she was like... I'm cooked, bro. We're so poor. Those children are in situations I've never seen before. Oh, was it a year? Okay, yeah. It was crazy. I feel like it was more than 450 pounds, no, Kami? Am I crazy? Maybe you're right. There's often a voice inside me urging me to do something. Ma'am Escalante, if you're free, you can join me and the staff for the Bursary Foundation to visit different schools. It's $4.50? Okay. There, you will get to see what most children in the world experience. Having said that, she chuckled. I apologize. I've recently been accustomed to kickstart such topics. It's because I wish for more nobles and wealthy to involve themselves in charities. I will do so. I'll also donate some money to the foundation. No, I'm not forcing you to donate. This is an action that must come from the heart. I only wish for you to take a look and then inform the people around you of the children's plight. This involves the memory of the psychology alchemists. All right. Escalante's first nodded gently in agreement. Audrey's true motives were to solicit donations from the psychology alchemists. But this was a different, extraordinary underground organization. This is no different from soliciting donations from the Aurora Order. Bro, can you imagine? The Aurora Order would be like, you know, like a little girl, like a little girl knocks on the door of their hideout accidentally, and she's like, "Hi, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies?" And they're like, "Do you have Thin Mints?" Like, "No, I apologize. The last house bought the last of them." And then they just blow up the entire street. They're like, "Fuck off! God, I only want the Thin Mints!" They believe. Audrey didn't continue discussing the matter regarding the Bursary Foundation, and instead said, "Ma'am, I have something I'd like to inform you of." "What is it?" "I've already advanced to a hypnotist." "You should be able to determine that I'm not lying," Audrey said with a smile. Only then did Escalante snap to her senses and say, "You seem to have some extraordinary encounter?" "It's to have the courage to make use of matters," Audrey said. "You wish for the Sequence 5 formula?" "Yes. What do I need to do? Or what price needs to be paid?" Audrey doesn't even give a fuck. She's like, "Bro, I'm just using you, you understand? I'll give you some stuff in return because, like, you're helping me out. But, like, let's be really clear. I ain't a part of your shit, okay? This is a transactional thing. That's all that's happening." Mr. X and Oracle had no money. Aurora ordered poor as hell. No, Justin, you don't understand. He didn't have any money because he bought so many. Klein was just looking for the money. If he opened the back door, he would have found hundreds of boxes of Thin Mints, okay? He was donating all the way. Any box of Thin Mints he could get his hands on, he was buying. What a good lad. All Rose Bishops donate at least an organ a year. You see? You donate 1 heart and society calls you a hero. You donate 10 hearts and society calls you a serial killer. Escalante looked at the lady in front of her and deliberated. "That isn't up to me to decide. I will report it and arrange for you to meet with Hilbert and Stephen." She was referring to the psychologist and jewelry designer, Hilbert Alucard. Alucard? Dracula? He's a fucking sanguine. Oh my god, confirmed. And furniture merchant, Stephen Hampress. And the best insurance in the industry. Yes, I am truly enticed by that. I've been truly enticed by the insurance policy of the Aurora Order. Audrey wasn't surprised by Escalante's reaction. A Sequence 6 Beyonder who had wished to advance was someone that required deep importance to be attached to any organization. This was even the case with ordinary churches. There were people who were qualified to meet high-ranking members. Kelvin, Afterleys, how's it going, guys? This also meant that after advancing to Hypnotist, Audrey was already an elite in the middle-ranking members of the Alchemists. Her next goal was to become a quasi-high-ranking member. The person she needed to meet was a counselor, not Hilbert or Stephen. As her thoughts flashed through her mind, Audrey deliberately showed some displeasure. Escalante acutely noticed this and said, "Meeting Hilbert and Stephen is to confirm your condition before a counselor meets you. In fact, at your present level, you should be leading a team and recruiting new members, but with your identity and status, we cancel that, afraid that it would influence your day-to-day life." Counselor? I wonder how many counselors there are in Backland. Could it be Vin Rambus? Audrey thought and said, "I understand and will await your arrangements." "Ma'am Escalante, do you know what's the name of the Sequence 5 of the Spectator pathway?" "I've once heard Hilbert mention that it's called Dreamwalker." Ooh, that's good. A Dreamwalker. Also, you don't need to pay anything. Just pray once a day and get all the benefits and insurance. No, what do the deductibles look like, Romero? I'm just curious. So the only thing I'm missing of the Spectator pathway now is Sequence 3. I have everything but 3. Interesting. Man, I'm so close to... I have like the vast majority of things now. This is cool. Where's Spectator? Am I losing my mind? Oh yeah, I'm just missing Sequence 3. You don't have everything at chapter 970, and you don't have everything at chapter 970. Light novel historian showed in his beginner video. Oh no. Just join in the rituals. We take part in that, and the service you need instead of deductibles. Ah, that's pretty good. Okay, 0 deductible policy. Like that. Okay. Dreamwalker. That's different than I imagined. Or could it be that dream is an analogy? To be precise, it should be subconscious walking. After having Escalante stay for dinner, she sent the lady to the door, where she got on a carriage. Amidst the pouring rain and the howling wind, a steamboat-sailboat hybrid was cruising through the sea route. Klein had already left the southern continent and had returned to Desi Bay as Dwayne Dantes. She only sends that message for high sequences. Amidst the shaking ship, Klein suddenly woke up, got out of bed, and headed for the window. Amidst the downpour, 3 huge, strange black sailboats were cruising over. Are there pirates coming over, bro? You don't want to do this. Oh shit, never mind. Oh, I'm cooked, never mind. Klein doesn't want this. Amidst the downpour, 3 huge, strange black sailboats were cruising over. Hanging from their sides were lanterns with 3 black sails and masts. And on its deck stood a mottled stone chair that was 2 or 3 meters high. It was the Black Emperor, symbol of the King of the 5 Seas, Luffy! No, wait, no, what? Nast! I'm sorry. Instincts. I like the beginning for the fact I think Finn Moore is building up for them. This is true. They're getting... Although in fairness, Khaled, I don't think... we'll do one more chapter, Romero. That'll get us to 7 chapters. I think that's a good place to end off. We'll do one more. And plus, with Nast coming over, I don't want to just leave it. I've been leaving it on... I feel like every single stream in the last fucking bit has always ended on a fucking... cliffhanger. So I'll go one more, see if I can... On the observation deck of the liner, the bulge was sounded. It tore through the obstacles put up by the wind and the rain. Unable to dress up all the time, they could only don a coat or their pajamas, rushing barefoot to the windows. Half of the passengers saw the gigantic sailboat. Together with the howling winds and the spattering rain and the moonless and starless night, many passengers felt as if the ship approaching them was from hell. After a brief pause, a name surfaced in everyone's mind, a Black Emperor. Everyone knew the existence of such a ship. May the storm be with you or me. May the goddess watch over us. Holy Lord of Storm. As the passengers subconsciously made prayers, they were filled with horror and helplessness. What if he says something crazy and powers out again? Ah, shit. These passengers knew very well that the owner of the Black Emperor had the highest bounty in the seas. In a particular sense, he was the king of the pirates, and was a particularly powerful figure who could remain alive despite the campaigns of various fleets from different nations. He was not someone the cannons and crews of a liner could resist. But didn't Nast get fucking yeeted recently by like the Navy or something? They sent out a ship and they just decimated his fleet or something? I get it, Dr. Z. Like, because the ADHD meds are basically just, they're very similar to methamphetamines, right? So it's literally like a meth high that you get from them. I mean, I would assume after a while that probably goes away. I would assume. I don't actually know, but I would assume. Like, I know when you first start taking it, you definitely feel like, whoa, like I feel good because you're high as a fucking kite. But I would assume with the dosage, it probably goes away after a while. I'll let the stream in the background, but I will go eat barbecue. Alright, no worries, DSV. See ya, man. I should get some ADHD meds then. Hell yeah, it's the best. How do I get them? Have it is the thing, Romero. As the passengers subconsciously made prayers, no. Alright. This meant that they were about to fall into the hands of a pirate. Tolerance is made, but to avoid tolerance, I cut it off at like 2 or 3 days a week. Really? Isn't it? Aren't you supposed to have it all the time? Because, like, the other days of the week, don't you feel like definitively slower? Like, I don't take them, but, like, I should probably. And, like, when I took them very briefly, like, I knew, like, I felt so much sharper. Like, I felt like I'd gained, like, 30 IQ points. I was like, oh, okay. Like, my chess skill in particular, I felt I was, like, a lot better. Because I could think in the same train of thought for a lot longer without just getting bored and being like, oh, fuck, it probably works out. Like, I didn't mind doing, so, I don't know. I mean, I don't take it, so I'm a fucking weird, don't take advice from me, you know. Many women couldn't help but imagine being assaulted by the pirates and being sold to unfamiliar lands. Some trembled while others collapsed. Some rummaged for daggers or revolvers. It was unknown if they wanted to resist or if they were unwilling to face the worst outcome. Having failed to find weapons, some moved to a clothes rack to their side. I do, but it's fine as long as I'm not working or anything important. Oh, okay. Oh, so you try to schedule your days with the days that you're working, I assume? Oh, okay. The men didn't react any better. Apart from a number of them drawing weapons in a bit to organize themselves, the remaining ones froze. Finally, the captain's voice boomed in every ear, using the broadcasting equipment. Silence! Do not be afraid. The owner of the Black Emperor has his own code. He's not like others. His subordinates can only plunder for items and wealth, nothing else. Such words were repeated a few times as the panicking passengers finally calmed down. Compared to the outcomes they had imagined, being able to live and not be assaulted was an excellent outcome. Almost a minute late, a number of passengers were overwhelmed with sadness and cries upon realizing that their hard-earned savings would be wiped out. I love how it's like a it's like a complete like human minds are so fucking weird, where like just 2 seconds ago they're like, oh my god, we're gonna fucking die and be sold into slavery, and they're like losing their shit, and now they're like, oh my god, my money's gonna be taken, could this get any worse? It's like, bro, I feel like it was like infinitely worse like 4 seconds ago. What are you fucking... I would be like jumping up in joy and be like, bro, take everything I own, no issues. Upon having this thought, they took their actions and hid their wealth in all kinds of hidden compartments, hoping to keep as much as they could. After doing this, they held their weapons tight, prepared to fight the pirates to the death. Even feral beasts would fight back, so why not humans? Until you live homeless for the rest of your life? Khaled, do you think these people are walking around with their entire fucking net worth on them? Do you think if someone steals my wallet, I'm like, oh my god, I am destitute, every dollar I own is gone? No, that's what banks are for, you fuck. If someone stole my wallet, I'd be like, I think there was like $60 in there, I'll cancel my cards, fuck it, whatever. Like, shit day. No problem. What do you think my whole fucking net worth is like stuffed in my wallet? God. These are fucking... You think banks are... Yes, Kami, we know they're common. Klein has banks. Klein opened up several bank accounts. We know banks are common. Yes, there are transfers, Sayura. We know Audrey did a transfer from Balam to Tingen for Klein, and it came in like 2 days. Stop. No, you guys are not remembering the story. No, stop. Well, debt is even better, Dr. Z, because what are they going to do? Steal the debt? What is your concern here? Do you think Luffy would hate Nast? I think Luffy would hate Nast because Nast seems much closer to me to Kaido than Luffy. And we know how that went. Especially if, like, Luffy is like, let's get separated from the Straw Hats and he's on a liner or something and he's like hungry and someone from the first class offers him some fucking meat and she's like, oh, you know, I miss my parents, I love them, but then Nast killed them, and Luffy would be like, alright, we're killing Nast, fuck it, she offered me meat, we're taking down Nast tomorrow. No, take bets then, buy things and hit the sea. At this moment, many of the pirates on the Black Emperor were waiting by the broadside according to the orders. They were prepared to jump onto the prey once the distance was closed. Nast doesn't kill, though? Do you think that would matter to Luffy? Their second mate, Horror Viscount Bird Mustang, was holding a telescope as he observed the liner opposite him without much thought. He was inwardly calculating how much longer before the two ships met. Horror Viscount. So this guy's a sequence 5? Khaled, the problem is I'm in banking, so like you guys are all going off of vibes, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. I do vibe shit all the time. But like, bro, I live in this, okay? I promise. If you were to ask a regular person like how much money do you have in your wallet, it'd be like fucking nominal amount. Like, if you lost your wallet, it'd be like, fuck, like I have to go stand in line to get new licenses and stuff. Ugh. Like, that would be the extent of it. It'd be like, ugh, whatever. Pushkar, well, glad to have you back, man. We're just on the last chapter, so you'll probably be here till end of stream. This pirate, whose bounty exceeded 10,000 pounds, wore an Intes-style shirt with complicated patterns. He donned a dark red captain's attire, as though he was awaiting the concealment of a ball and not a pirate attack. Yeah, like Dr. Z, let me actually tell you a story. So when I had to fly out for I was flying out a while back, and I had to cross the U.S. border. And when you cross the U.S. border, they'll generally ask like, "How much cash do you have?" So the guy asked me like, "Hey, how much cash do you have?" I go, "Oh, sorry, no." He went, "How much USD do you have?" So I checked my wallet. It's like $3. And then he goes, "Okay, how much Canadian?" I go, "None." And he goes, "Seriously?" And I go, "I have cards. What the fuck do I need cash for?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't carry it either. Go ahead." Like, what the fuck do I need cash for? Isn't it 1990? Like, why would I bother? Like, $3 is such a nominal amount to the point where, like, I couldn't even realistically buy a coffee with it. The money was just there. I was like, eh. Bird Mustangs unhurriedly searched with his telescope, but regardless of the direction he aimed at, there was nothing but stormy waves. Such a huge liner had vanished. Where's the ship? Where did the ship go? Oh, they just literally went into the spirit world. They were not looking at, okay. The pirates on deck also noticed something amiss. A ghost ship? No, there aren't any ghost ships with such a make. This is a steam and sail hybrid that got popular. An illusion? An illusion at this scale would have to be done by a demigod. Oh, that was the liner that moved. Oh, I see. Oh, wait, Klein just made it fucking yoink? During this process, the distance he traveled seemed to distort. Bird Mustang covered quite a sizable distance and arrived in front of the captain's cabin. He bowed. Earl Nast, something abnormal has happened with the hunt. On the Black Emperor, King of the Five Seas Nast continued in dressing himself as an earl, as it was a title conferred upon him by Emperor Roselle. Of course, he had publicly announced that it was a matter of time before he established a pirate's kingdom, becoming a duke, king, even an emperor. A solemn voice sounded from the captain's cabin. Circle around it. By your will, Bird Mustang didn't ask why as he accepted the order. Of course, he could imagine Klein is so cool now. Instead of like the first time he saw Nast, he was like, Nast is here, run away. Cancel the summoning immediately. But now he's like, fuck are you gonna do about it, bro? Be it an illusion or not, to make such a huge steam and sail a hybrid liner vanish was not something a lower mid-sequence Beyonder could do. It definitely had a demigod or powerhouse wielding a demigod level artifact. To clash with an unknown demigod for an ordinary liner was dumb. Even if the Earl of White Maple Nast, as the King of the Five Seas, he wouldn't do rash acts unless there was something worth fighting for. Bro, that is so... Klein is literally just like, he's like, listen, you can get on here. You'd win, listen. Nast is probably a angel. If not, he's probably a 3. Okay, no, but I would assume he's... Like in my mind, I still think he's a sequence 1, but let's assume that's not the case. Let's assume he's like a 2, or let's just say he's a sequence 3 saint, no problem. He'd be like, bro, is it worth me fighting a fucking demigod for me to get like 500 pounds from the ship? Get the fuck out of here. Just ugh. I don't know how much money you would get from robbing a sailor. I'm just making up numbers. From this angle, the demigod hiding on the liner had not launched any counterattack. This implied that he didn't wish to clash with the Black Emperor either. Therefore, he only exhibited his existence for a shock and awe. Bird Mustang immediately got the sailors to leave the broadside and turn the ship around. At this point, a huge and heavy red-headed sea eagle flew out from its flock and headed straight for the Black Emperor. Amidst the pirates' confusion, the red-headed sea eagle looked down and spoke, "I wish to meet the Earl of White Maple." So wait, Klein can transform into a animal now. I don't know what a sea eagle is. Is that just a big-sized eagle? What the fuck is a sea eagle? But I thought Klein could only transform into... and just an ego, but not all. Okay. But I thought Klein could only transform into animals that were of similar size. Oh, except if he's in his spirit body state. No. Oh, a marionette. Oh, he made a marionette eagle. Okay. Bird Mustang immediately followed the order as the eagle swooped down in the storm. When it landed on the deck, it was no longer a red-headed eagle, but a man in a tall top hat and a tuxedo. The Bird Mustang's eyes dilated slightly as though he was trying to take in the figure. But no matter how much he observed, he was unable to discover anything abnormal about this exaggerated man. It was as though there wasn't a red-headed seagull from the beginning. A few seconds later, the Bird Mustang's pupils dilated even more as he saw the figure's side profile. This man, who looked like he was an invitee at a banquet, was thin. His side profile was about the width of 2 fingers. At that moment, Bird Mustang felt as though he was watching a walking paper figurine. A monster, he gulped with great difficulty as he saw the terrifying demigod. The pirates on deck quickly retreated and leaned against the shipboard as though a nightmare had walked past them. This is what happens when Shanks uses his Conqueror's hockey and half of his fucking crew just conks out. They're like, yeah. Except like the OG crew who's strong enough to withstand it. Everyone else is like, ugh, just passes out. Everyone else is like, ah, ah. To them, this abnormally proportioned man was something they had never seen before. It was more harrowing than many monsters. At the 3rd story of the cabin, outside the captain's cabin, Klein held a handle, twisted it, and opened the door. The reason he had made himself appear so strange was partially due to having no choice, but also partially deliberate. The former was because the red-headed sea eagle wasn't big enough, so creating the clothes and mask, there was no way to create a normal human body, even without the innards. The deliberate choice was this, because he was beginning to try out his theories on acting as a bizarre sorcerer. He had some idea. The term sorcerer wasn't key. What the key was to appear bizarre! Yes, I got there before Klein did. Let's go. Listen, I'm just gonna say, in a head-to-head, me and Klein are like kind of similar. He's gotten some stuff I didn't get, and I've gotten some stuff he didn't get. I'm just saying, okay? I feel like head-to-head we're pretty close. He might be ahead slightly, but it's close at least. Bizarre, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. With the light creak, the door opened, revealing the interior of the cabin. Candle lamps. How many people in chat? No one helped me with that. I feel like you guys generally inhibit me more than you help me. You guys like give me some random bullshit, or you give me like partial facts because then it gets deleted. And I'm like, oh. Candlelights droop down from above with 41 on the left and 40 on the right. Oh, this is like this is the 4th epoch asymmetrical bullshit. Okay. King of the 5 Seas Nast's figure was relatively normal. It's all us, fuck you. He was slightly taller than 1.9 meters, unlike the non-human form, which resembled a giant. He was still wearing a miniature crown with a black robe and silver ends. He had a squarish face with slight wrinkles. He had a short black mustache underneath his chin. I've never met you before, Mr. Bizarro Sorcerer. Klein took off his hat and bowed. You know me now. Nast made his voice, which made spirit bodies tremble, resound. Speak. Why are you visiting me? Earl, I wish to know of your impression of Emperor Roselle. Everyone knows that you and your father have met him in the past. More than once. Have a seat. Before he finished his sentence, Klein felt a potent, suppressive force on him. His body involuntarily sat on the chair. However, he was only here as a marionette. With a flick of his spirit body threads, the figure that was as thin as a book quickly restored its balance. God damn. man, that's like an even worse place to end it. Oh my god. What the fuck? I can't get a good place to end it. I can't get a good place to end it to save my fucking life. Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm setting out a poll really quickly. You guys let me know. I'm happy to read one more. I'm happy to end here. I don't really care. What's up? Username, you changed your thing. You changed your profile pic. I'm sorry, this chapter is quite strange because I was angry I couldn't write anymore. When I was writing half this chapter, I want to refer another sentence to another chapter, so I opened a previous chapter and found the paragraph related to the sacrifice was deleted. This type of review and correct is unacceptable, and no word can describe it. Without that paragraph, the whole situation becomes incoherent and no one understands it. Moreover, what context in this paragraph violated the rule? The story about the villains did evil stuff, and the good guy perished the villains is horrible enough to be deleted? I didn't detail the sacrifice so others can copy it. I just mentioned it. I don't understand the whole process and the aims of review and correct anymore. I can't accept that my work is turned into an incoherent, illogical, broken, and that describes nothing and inexplicable and impossible for anyone to read. Previously, many chapters went through that review and correct process, and I already made tons of changes. I understand the policy is tight and everyone should understand the situation, so I didn't complain. However, I can't endure the ridiculous review and correct, which breaks the whole connection of the plot. Everyone knows about the style and theme of Lord of the Mysteries. Everyone knows the situation that will be described in the book. If the crazy review and correct continues, I am unable to finish the story. I added the deleted paragraph of the previous chapter. Everyone can reread it. I don't know when it will be deleted again. If this situation continues, I don't know how long I can continue to write and how I can finish this book. 1 hour later, I calm myself down a little. I will not say anything that can be considered radical. All of my readers, please continue to read and cherish what you are reading. I will continue to write until I'm unable, and I will not punish my readers because of others' mistakes. Oh, that's sweet. Alright, what are we thinking? Read one more? Alright, that seems to be the conclusive end. Alright, fuck it. Alright, one more! We ride! Oh, God. Oh, God. 972. Nast's Memories. That is not how you spell memories. No, if you read maybe the cliffhanger will be more severe. You know what, Sayura? Only a coward does not take a risk. What are your thoughts on Nast? He's Kaido, but like not as big or strong. Well, maybe strong, but not as big. He's nasty. That's very clever username. Very clever. With the pressure relieved, Klein casually pulled over a chair and sat down. Although the Pirate King was more than 1.9 meters tall and was sitting on a black platform, allowing him to look down in a domineering manner, Klein didn't play second fiddle. He wore his hat again. Give me a reason why I should answer your question. You will not need to hear the same request when you have something you need to trade with me in the future. I basically know all the saints active in the world, but not you. Have you met Zaratul? I've met him twice in Emperor Rozel's palace. I've also interacted with quite a few members of the Secret Orders. Quite a number of Secret Order members. You should introduce me to them, Klein lampooned. He then smiled and said, I've also met Zaratul. Oh, damn. Nast raised his hand to stroke his black beard. His already tall figure seemed to burgeon, making the mood in the room even more gloomier. He stared at Klein from above and said, My impression of Rozel is very simple. No one is more suitable than him to be the Black Emperor. Is that so? From Nast's words, although the Emperor's diary implies that he made up his mind in his later years, he had long had such inclinations. He had unconsciously exhibited wanting to switch to the Black Emperor pathway. Oh, that's cool. Pushkar, it could also just be a real reference, because Blackbeard was obviously a real pirate. In the Emperor's later years, did he get you or your father to do something secret? Klein asked. Someone once asked me the same question. Klein laughed and asked, Bernadette? Yes. Back then, she was very young and immature to ask such a question. With Roselle's level in his later years, compared to handing something secret to me and my father, what could be kept more secret than doing it himself? This is implying that I'm as immature as Bernadette was back then. To people who are concerned about this, one wouldn't rationally even have the slightest sliver of hope. This was also why he wished to meet Nast after concealing the liner. He was now trying to find clues to the door of light above the grey fog in the real world. Apart from confirming who the third transmigrator was, he had to delve deep into Roselle matters. The dark glow in Nast's eyes contracted. What's your relationship with Roselle? We can be considered old friends. Maybe. Is there a chance? Is there a chance Klein and Roselle knew each other in the real world? Or like in our world? I don't want to say real world, but... Devil, how's it going, man? Is there a chance? Because I feel like we can be considered old friends. Is obviously what he's implying is that like, oh yeah, like we have a lot of commonalities. But like, I don't know. I don't take anything for granted in this story anymore. I don't know. After all, they had been above that mysterious door of light, and the cocoons they were in were neighbors with only a thin obstacle between them. They had been hanging there for centuries or even a millennia. This was a connection that stemmed from reality, and psychologically, having read so many of the Emperor's diaries, Klein had long treated the Emperor as a fellow countryman. Any more questions? Nast stared at the demigod. Do you feel there was anything abnormal about Roselle in his later years? I don't know enough about him, so I wasn't able to notice anything. The only thing that made me feel odd was that when me and my father met him, he would stand at a floor-to-ceiling window facing west. He would stare into the direction. This would happen in the morning, noon, and evening, and the room wasn't the only one with a floor-to-ceiling window. West. Into the distance? The fog sea? Klein muttered to himself, as though he was seeking confirmation. That was my guess as well, Nast nodded. Phew. Klein stood up and said, I'm done with my questions. Please, pardon my intrusion. Your lordship, I wonder if I can help you in a transaction. Nast fell silent and said, help me find the card of blasphemy that corresponds to the Black Emperor. Oh shit. Oh, that's so clever. Justin, what? He would have shown a reaction to Roselle's real name. Huang Tao. Oh, wait, was that already revealed, Justin? Now that you say it, that name sounds familiar. But I didn't... Oh, fuck, you're right, it was. Okay, never mind, that theory falls flat then. Yeah, because he was like, yeah, like, I don't want to forget who I am. My name is Huang Tao. Yeah, you're right, yeah. Okay, For an instant, Klein suspected that Nast was testing him, but he immediately felt that an unknown demigod had little to do with the Black Emperor card. He said with a smile, I'll try my best. However, the questions from before aren't worth a card of blasphemy. If I can obtain it, I'll trade you for the information on it. Of course, I might only have clues to the card. So be it. Klein caressed the armrest. Klein took off his hat, bowed, and turned to leave before returning to the deck. Wait, so if Klein doesn't realistically need it that bad, but if he gave him that card, Klein could get, bro, I feel like Klein could get so much from this fucking guy. He'd be like, listen, I'm not giving it to you until you get me the ingredients for sequence 3 and 2 of the Seer Pathway. And I feel like Roselle would just be like, shit, bro, fine. Yeah, but like, he could give him the card as well. The card is handy to Nast because Nast can use it to attract the ingredients he needs, so he doesn't have to look as hard. So Nast would pay like any price he can for it. And Klein would be like, I want the ingredients for the 2. I want the ingredient list for sequence 3 and 2. And fuck it, I want you to help me with finding some of them as well once you get it. Like, fine. Like, what's he gonna do? Say no? Fine, okay, you don't get the fucking, you don't get the card of blasphemy. This card is worth like everything. This card is worth like a country. Under the Viscount Bird Mustang and company's gaze, Klein raised his hands. His body rapidly contracted, and his entire body became an ordinary red sea eagle again. This sea eagle immediately flapped its wings, flying into the dark storm, vanishing from the sights of the pirates. That's a demigod, Bird Mustang looked. Although making a further advancement at Sequence 5 increased the inclination towards madness and loss of control, making it highly likely for the Beyonders to fail, the title of being a demigod remained attractive. As long as one successfully took the step, they could obtain godhood, allowing their life to undergo a fundamental change, be it in terms of lifespan or power. On the liner, Klein abandoned his control over the red-headed sea eagle, allowing it to plunge into the sea to be fish food for anyone seeing it. What's as valuable as a card of blasphemy? Well, yeah, I get it. Klein could say like, "Hey, I will get it to you if you get me the Seer Pathway one," but I feel like the Seer Pathway one is gonna be some bullshit. Like Klein's gonna eventually get it, but like he's gonna get it like once he's already a sequence 0 or some bullshit. Cause like it's so valuable. I feel like the Seer Pathway is somewhat special to some degree. Like, why does Klein have access to the great? Like, there's so much stuff. So I feel like its value is greater than other cards of blasphemy, and probably like Zaratul has it shoved in his asshole or something. On the liner, Klein abandoned his control over the Sea Eagle, allowing it to plunge into the sea. At this moment, the passengers on board felt high-strung because the Black Emperor was about to approach. You should already know the Fool's Card location? What? Oh, is it on the Hornaces mountain range? Oh, is it at the peak? Is it on the throne? Is that it? Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, yes, Dr. Z. Yes, we saw it when he was... Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right. We did see it. That's how we learned the Fool. Yeah, yeah. But Klein is scared shitless to go there, eh? Yeah, but like maybe Nast would be okay to go there. That's actually a good point. He'd be like, listen, I'll give you the Black Emperor card if you can get me the Fool card. I'll tell you where it is. You just need to get it. If you get it, I'll give you the one you want. The passengers and crew watched blankly and realized the reality of what was happening. The Black Emperor was gone. A number of passengers cheered while others had tears streaming down their face. A few collapsed to the ground and relaxed. However, They were unable to make a light of what they were unable to find to figure out what happened. The Black Emperor must have completed a plunder already, since this is a liner, it didn't catch his eye. As the euphoria spread across the ship, Klein, donning the appearance of Dwayne Dantes, cast his gaze to the north. I feel like if this is true, where the main important thing of Bizarro Sorcerer is bizarre, I feel like the Dwayne Dantes persona is the worst one to have, because Dwayne is like he's like really stuck up, he's like really formal because he's trying to become part of the high society. Klein needs like a new persona who's like, out of my fucking mind. Yeah, he like just, you know, like Klein should, oh my god, if Klein just did meth, he would be bizarre. But I guess that wouldn't be acting, so it wouldn't work, because he would become bizarre. I guess that wouldn't work. Have I told you guys this story? So my high school was you're describing a Tim assault, true. So my high school was right on a downtown street, and downtowns are generally the place where you'll meet like the most crazy, strung out, drug addicted people, because those people are just out of their fucking minds. It's very funny because like you'll see side by side a homeless man who slept on the street and has like $4 to his name, and he's going to spend that $4 to buy some kind of drugs, and a businessman who's like on his 15-minute lunch rushing to another building because he has like another appointment like right beside each other, like just walking beside each other, not acknowledging each other's existences, right? And so, like, right outside our high school, we would see, like, just drug-addicted people all the time. Like, we used to have a guy who was... He was on something. I don't know what the fuck he was on. But he was, like, a really nice guy. He wore, like, a suit. I don't know where the fuck he got the suit from. It was bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like an old suit that was, like... ripped up and stuff at places. But, like, it was still a suit. And he had that, and he had a flute with him. And if you gave him like $2, he would play like a decent melody on the flute for you. It was great. I don't know where the fuck he got the flute from. I don't know where he got the suit from. No idea. But he was like a super chill guy. So I feel like Klein needs to act as one of those peeps for a little bit. I feel like he could digest this potion in like 4 weeks tops. Compared to the King of the Five Seas, who had only met Roselle a few times, there was another person who knew the Emperor even better, Bernadette. Being an equal peer to Nast, she had recently been in Backland. After I return to Backland, I'll get Cattleya to contact Queen Mystic and try to meet her. Klein retracted his gaze and went to bed. In the Rorstad archipelago, on the future, Cattleya finally received a letter from Bernadette. She had no idea when the invisible messenger arrived, but this didn't stop her from effusing her joy. I've met some true bizarre sorcerers in the TTC. Oh yeah, the TTC is man, bro, you'll meet the crazy Dr. Z Heisenberg arc. In the face of meth, we are all equal regardless of wealth and status. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Tearing open the envelope and spreading open the letter, Cattleya read the first line. That is indeed CL's descendant. Oh, CL is CL's descendant, and CL is Roselle's youngest son, oldest son? Oh, cool. That artisan really is Roselle's future descendant. I can't allow him to mix with the believers of the moon. I have to bring him aboard the future. After making up her mind, she thought of the artisan Cielf's character and morals that only spelled trouble. She felt that she had the responsibility and duty to discipline him. I mean to say we should all avoid it. Oh. The way you said it was like very pro-libertarian. It was like, hey, listen, we're all consenting adults, like rich, poor, like if you want to try it, go not. That's what it felt like. But now that you say that, that makes a lot more sense. After making up her mind, she felt... Amidst her deliberation, she walked to the window of the captain's cabin and cast her gaze outside. After some searching, her gaze fell onto the shipboard where Frank Lee was munching on mushrooms. Frank? Captain, is there something? I'll get you an assistant for your experiments. All right. Frank was taken aback as he revealed a pure smile. All right. Okay, I think we can end it there. Yeah, see, actual good place to end. We finally got a good place to end. It took a while, but we got there. God damn, I'm just gonna change the title really quickly. Bro, Frank can't become an angel. Hey there, we fucking die, bro. Alright guys, we're gonna end stream there. Thank you everyone for popping by. Appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your day or nights. I don't know if there'll be a night stream. I wouldn't count on it though. So I'll probably see you tomorrow. Because I want to try making the script for the Volume 4 video, and that's going to take a while. So I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.